Hughes takes his tally to 13 for the season. Chance here for Hughes, and he's put it away! Manchester United are 1-up, and Hughes with an emphatic header.
And there's a very well taken equaliser by Mark Hughes. Beautifully done. Mark Hughes again demonstrates that you cannot afford to let him see the goal.
Mark, good to see you.
Good to be here.
Now this year's 50 years of the PFA Awards, and you're in a very exclusive club of players who have won it twice and the first person to win it twice. It's not a bad club to be in.
No, it's those names are quite distinguished in football, so yeah, I'll take my place in them.
And when you look at everything you won, 2 Premier Leagues, 4 FA Cups, 3 League Cups, where does winning an award that's voted by your players you play against and play with?
Yeah, it's a huge award in football terms. Being voted by your peers is a real special thing, and when I came back from my travels from Barcelona and Bayern Munich, it was really important that when I came back that I made an impression. So to win it when I first came back was important to me, because it showed that people understood that maybe before I went I was a good player, but maybe I came back a better player, and I think that was recognised in the first one.
He sent sharp away. 3 to his right. And there's a very well taken equaliser by Mark Hughes. Beautifully done. The killer touch of the lethal finisher.
You came back to a very different Manchester United under Sir Alex Ferguson. How had it changed from your first spell when you returned? Because you do go and win it in your first season.
Yeah, there was certainly a change in discipline, maybe certainly from my memory prior to going abroad. It was at times a little bit lax, but I think that was typical of football in that day and age. But certainly when I came back there was a distinct difference in terms of levels and how you were expected to work and how you needed to represent the club, and I liked that, because actually I've been exposed to that in Munich, where they were quite disciplined, as you would imagine, and they were quite ahead of the game in those days. A lot of the stuff that we take for granted now in terms of sports science, they were very much at the forefront of that, so I learned a lot while I was away.
And that first year back at United, was there a change in your mentality that you think led you to have the success you had that season, or was it I got a bit of a point to prove? What changed for you to come back and have the impact you had?
I don't think I approached the game any differently, not from memory, but I think it was just the fact that I felt I probably had grown up to a certain extent. I'd got married, I had children at that point, and I just had a different outlook on my professional work, and I think clearly that helped me to have a really good season. I think it was important that the team at that point was changing, and it was the start of obviously the Sir Alex era, and that was a special time, because at times we didn't play as well as we felt we should, or didn't play as well as Sir Alex thought we should. But it was a process that we're all going through, and to be at the start, that was really important.
Now, before we get into you picking your team, because you're in a management role now, do you take things from the managers you worked under? Is there parts of Sir Alex's style that you try and implement now? Or pick
I'm
up
sure
bits
there
as
is.
you go along?
Nothing really that I could put my finger on, but goodness me, to be managed by not only Sir Alex but many others, and just your own experience as well, being around people and how they react to certain situations that I've obviously experienced as a manager and as a player. I think you must be touched by that and shaped by that, but there's no one thing I would say is down to that manager or that manager. It's just an accumulation of experience over a long period of time.
Well, we've got a tough task now.
Yeah, you dropped us on my toes, haven't you?
You've got 5 and a sub. So
Right.
the first thing I've got to ask, are you going 89 Hughes or 92 Hughes, the 2 years you won it? Is there one you...
No, I'll go the later Hughes, I think.
Yeah,
It's like I
92.
said, because I I'd like to think I got better as I got older, like a fine wine.
Yeah. We got only 2 keepers to win the award. Are you playing with a keeper? You don't have to. A few people have just stuck a defender there.
No, you got to have a keeper, haven't you? No, 2 great names in British football there. Showing how old I am, I think I did actually play against both of them.
Yeah.
So I think certainly Pat Jennings was later on in his career, but close thing. 2 legends in the game, but I'll go Peter Shilton.
Phil Shilton's in sticks, yeah. On to defenders. Are you playing 1 at the back, 2 at the back?
I'll see what defenders I've got to use with. All right, goodness me. Some good ones here. I've got 2 ex-colleagues there.
Who's got
3 actually with JT. Funny enough, he was just a young kid when I was at Chelsea.
So technically gifted, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Whoa. I've got Paul McGrath out there because I always used to say, there used to be a comic, Shoot magazine. Football was the only football one around in those days, and they used to do this question and answer thing, and he used to say, one of the questions was, who was your most difficult opponent? And I used to say Paul McGrath in training.
Really?
Because you just couldn't get past him. Great player, great ability, compromised by injuries, but still was a great player.
Gary Lineker put him in too.
Right, okay.
He said similar things.
Yeah.
So Paul McGrath in. So this is the real tough pile. Got midfielders in here.
All right, okay. Goodness me. Wow, is it? There's only midfielders on the voting committee.
Yeah, literally. They've done well.
Wow, goodness me.
Just off the top, who's sticking out there? How easy is that to narrow down?
Well, I'm going with people I've obviously played with and played against. So there's obvious ones there. I'm also Welsh, so that might skew my opinion. So I might be a little bit biased, but how many have I got left? I've got a...
It depends if you're starting or if you're on the bench, you see.
Oh, right, okay. I might manage. There's so many good players, I think I might manage, yeah. So there's so many good players. Kevin De Bruyne, I've played... I've gone up against him as a manager, and absolutely a world-class player. Like I said, John Barnes, we played against each other in youth team games, and yeah, there's a lot of guys out there. David Platt, who was a young player at United when I was there. Yeah, some great players. Right, I'm going with.
You gotta make a choice.
I'm going with 2 United guys. You won't be surprised.
Giggsy, Keane.
Yeah.
What do you think these 2 would offer you then? Roy Keane, obviously.
Yeah, Roy was a great leader, great guy, fantastic player. Just had a real drive and demand of himself and everybody around him. So yeah, had a fantastic career. Had so much to his game. Could score a goal as well, and he was one of the few players that could affect the game just by virtue of his own performance. He could drag the team to get to a better level. Probably himself and Brian Robson were the 2 that I remember that had that ability.
Set the standard every single day.
And were able to affect games as the game was happening.
Beckham centre, Scholes setting it up here for Roy Keane! Brilliant! Captain Marvel strikes again.
Ryan Giggs.
Giggsy, just an outstanding player. Obviously saw him develop at United, come through the ranks, and was just a fantastic player.
One more spot. And
Good luck with this one.
This is a heavy pile.
Yeah. Like I say, I'm managing, so I take myself out of it. Oh, goodness me. It's a little bit unfair, this, isn't it?
But when you look at this, and everyone I speak to, it's some group of players to be with, isn't it?
Yeah. That's amazing. Oh, goodness me. Yeah. Yeah, we should have just done a five-a-side for every group.
Can you see through the United heads for Kinkeddy? Is he close?
Yeah, well, he was just one of the last ones I saw. Goodness me, what a player he was. It's just such an array of talent and players and personalities. And
everyone we've done them with, some people have gone how their team's going to work together. Some people have just picked the 5 standout ones they wanted. Alan Shearer, Cristiano Ronaldo.
It's impossible, isn't it, really? How many subs have I got?
So you're not even, you're just managing?
Yeah, I'm manager, I'm out of it.
We'll take you out. That gives you a starter and a sub.
Right, okay.
But you could also squeeze another midfielder in, or you think you've got the midfield sorted with
Midfield's all right.
Yeah.
Two strikers and a sub I'll go for. Well, I'm going with Eric.
Easy choice, or just did you see?
I played a close hand to Eric, and he just had a big influence on the group when he came in.
Everyone talks about his aura.
Yeah, a lot of players found it difficult to play for Man United. Eric was a player that was born to play for Man United. Yeah. And when he came in, we were a good team, but we just needed a little bit of stardust, and Eric came in and supplied that in huge amounts. So, he was a catalyst for a lot of things that happened after he arrived.
It's well done by Keane for Cantona. Very tight, but Hughes needed just an inch and found the net.
Was he one of those players where in games you need a moment, you need that little bit of brilliance? You look around and you think, we might be down here, but Eric might just pop up.
Yeah, I've said many occasions, he was one of those players. He was one of the early players that came from the continent, and the Premier League was just opening up to obviously that diversity, and he just had a different view of how the game should be played and how we could find space. And for the most part, I was used to be playing in 4-4-2, where that was predominantly the strategy of everybody at that time. But he came in and he'd start on the left wing, on the right wing, and I was thinking, well, where's he gone now? He's supposed to be up front with me, but actually he was just finding space and being more effective. So he was
changed the approach.
And it made you look, as a player, made you look at the game in a different way as well.
So Ericsson, you get one sub from this bunch. Sticking with a forward.
Oh, goodness me. One sub. Yeah, some big ones. Wow. Pretty predictable. I'm going with my Welsh colleague, Ian Rush. Outstanding player, fantastic in terms of his movement and his ability to get on the end of things. Big factor in that was this guy as well, Kenny Dalglish, but Rush was a great teammate as well, so I'll go with him.
Ian Rush gets the final spot. There we go. Happy with the team?
Delighted.
Yeah?
Yeah.